and we went from the basement up. And then I sprinkled some sea salt around the doorways and the windows. That's another protection where if you feel like something negative is trying to come into your house, you can sprinkle sea salt. Purification. If you're feeling like you have something negative attached with you, you can take a bath. Sea salt, it's grounding. If you're feeling kind of flighty or airy or stressed out or out of sorts, sea salt in your pockets, in a bath, whatever. That's another thing, little paranormal trick that you can use to help ground yourself. And so we did that, and she thanked me so much, and I left. Well, the next day I got an email from her, and she said, thank you so much. It was the first night in weeks that nothing had happened, and she was ever so grateful, and her girls had actually left the house and gone and stayed with their father because they didn't feel comfortable. They felt comfortable coming home, and so everyone was back home, and everything was happy and good.
Wow.
I was like, fantastic. So then about a week later, I got an email from her, and, she started out saying, the house is pretty okay right now, occasionally, they'll hear the basketball upstairs. But she wanted to tell me the reason why that didn't bother her. She said that she had asked around and she found out a few things about the homeowner. The homeowner that had passed away was named John. But John, and he was homebound and he stayed in her bedroom. John had a nephew named Larry that came over every single day, and they had coffee in the breezeway.
Oh.
The last day that John passed away, it happened before Larry could come over and have coffee with him in the breezeway.
Oh. Oh.
So that's my spooky story.
That's spooky. That is spooky. That is spooky.
Like, I was so happy that I could help her, and I was just so, amazed that this name was just screaming in my head. It was the weirdest thing.
The name of Larry.
Yeah, the name of Larry. I would have swore that was a dead guy, but it turned out that Larry was the nephew, and it was just wild.
Oh. Boy, he must have really looked forward to coffee with Larry.
It was the highlight of his day. It was truly the highlight of his day, of his morning. And it was kind of weird, too, because I felt like John was having coffee with me,
Oh, thank you, Amy. If people want to get a hold of you, they could look for you on the internet at
Amy Williamson, that's SON.net.
Boy, thank you, Amy. I hope to speak with you on another show soon.
Thanks, Clyde, for having me. It's been a delight.
Hi, folks. I got a horror movie host on the line right now. I am speaking to...
The Sinister Minister.
Oh, the Sinister Minister. And what's the name of your show?
It's called the Midnight Massacre Theater.
Ooh, very cool, man. Could you describe to the audience what you look like?
I guess the character visually is kind of modeled between the sort of black metal band with the corpse paint type thing and just a really creepy looking vampire type. So it's kind of like that, kind of like in a priest get up.
Hey, when did you start all this? When did you become a horror movie host?
I started the show it debuted out here in Las Vegas on Halloween of '03. Didn't have any instruction or training, but then again, I'm sure most of us that horror host really don't. We do it out of the love of it,
So where is your show seen?
The show's on the air in like 12 or 13 other states around the country because I hit up a whole bunch of other cable access markets from California all the way over to Vermont, and it's even on in Hawaii and lots of places in between. You can check, my website has the full TV schedule, times, days, and stations and locations.
Hey, Sinister Minister, do you have any catchphrases?
Yeah, well, generally, when I start the show, I actually came up with some Edgar Allan Poe-ish type poetry that I throw out there, and it's just stuff that came to me, and one of them is, welcome to the dead of night, when all is still in pale moonlight, for in these hours the time is right, when dark things lurk to cause you fright, and overtake you with their power, and steal your soul to the witching hour. That's how I usually start it up.
Hey, on the internet, where can horror movie fans go to find out more about the Sinister Minister?
TheMMT.com. TheMMT.com, just acronym for Midnight Massacre Theater.
TheMMT.com.
Yeah, the TheMMT.com, TheMMT.com.
And you've got some trading cards out now,
right?
right?
Yeah. Horror Host Trading Cards. It's the second series, and they're available. I'm going to have them on my website, available soon also with like T-shirts and some merchandise over there. But they're also available at the HorrorHostGraveyard.com.
Well, thank you so much.
Actually, I think it's just HorrorHostGraveyard.com.
Well, that's good to know. Thank you so much for being on Spooky Talk, Sinister Minister.
Yes, thank you for having me, Clyde. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Clyde, this is Rich Peterson, the host of the late-night horror show, Bordello of Horror, hosted by my alter ego, of course, the Deacon of Darkness, the posthumous pimp, Freak Show from Madison, Wisconsin. Now, we'd just like to say congratulations on the new show, Clyde. And, of course, you know, hopefully we'll be on the show someday. In the meantime, if anyone else out there wants to check out Bordello of Horror, if you're in the Madison area, you can see it on Madison, Wisconsin's cable access, WYOU. That's every Sunday morning, 1 to 3 a.m., analog channel 95, digital channel 991. But for the rest of our friends of the undead, you can check it out streaming online every Sunday morning, 1 to 3 a.m. at www.wyou.org. Congratulations again, Clyde, and we'll talk to you soon.
This is Spooky Talk, the talk show that's spooky, and you can call me right now here at the radio station at 248-557-1460, or call the Spooky Talk phone line 24 hours a day at 313-633-1599. Maybe you recall a spooky story that's in your family, like an aunt, uncle, or grandparent that would tell a spooky tale. Share it with me and the Spooky Talk audience. Last week, towards the end of the show, I said that we would hear from former FM radio's 104.3 WOMC on-air talent Ron Tavernet with a spooky story. Well, here it is. Get ready.
Hi, this is Ron Tavernet. This is the legend of Knock Knock Street. There's a road in Detroit, and around Halloween, if you travel there with some friends, especially a guy and a girlfriend, you might want to remember the legend of Knock Knock Street. It's all about two people, a couple, that were driving down this street one time and got into an argument. Well, the girl got out of the car and slammed the door, but she slammed part of her dress in the door. And the guy, he was kind of ticked off. He just took off and dragged his girlfriend without knowing it. And she knocked on the door wildly until he finally stopped. But it was too late. Now, whenever you travel down this street, sometimes you'll hear the knock, knock, knock of Knock Knock Street.
Ooh, hey, thank you, Ron, for that. This is Spooky Talk on WPON AM 1460. I would like to thank the engineer for this show, Karen Schatz. James Bankert was off today, but Jim Henderson's here, too. And next week, I hope to hear from Heather Connor, who will have a review on Nightmare on Elm Street. And we'll have an interview with someone else who lives in a haunted house. Now, here is a little bit of that. Hi, what's your name?
Shelley.
And where are you from?
Allen Park.
And you said you had a spooky story about some noises in your house?
Yep, our house is over 100 years old, and it creaks a lot.
Leave it. I'll just leave it at that right there. And we'll have more callers from the Spooky Talk audience, and we'll have another visit from Wolfman Max. So join me again here on Spooky Talk, Wednesday at 5 p.m. on WPON AM 1460. And until next time, this is Creepy Clyde saying, may all your frights be fun.